Welcome back to the A to Z challenge. We are all the way up to Y. Y stands for you cannot handle the truth. So you can't handle the truth because unfortunately you're still in that part where you're querying or you're submitting or, well, there's a bazillion reasons why, but when you first start out writing, the reason that you can't handle the truth is because all of your rejections are pretty much form rejections, and the reason for that is that it doesn't have anything to do with your story. It has everything to do with the way you've pitched your story, or everything to do with the way that you're putting your sentences together, or maybe you're filtering and you're all show no tell, or all tell no show, I mean. Yeah, you can see why I didn't do so well early on, right? And it's not even the things that you think that it is. It's filter words that you don't expect, or things like that. And so it's really frustrating because what you really have is you have a novel that needs a month of editing, probably more, and you're just not even a place to see that yet. And so as an agent is going through, you can tell when writing is super good and crisp and clean. It zings. It's amazing, the difference. And you as the writer, there's nothing wrong with that sentence. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's just fine. The problem is that for every, 50 fine sentence writers, there's 5 spectacular sentence writers. And that's what it's coming down to when you're querying, is that even though yours is good or fine or even great, it's not spectacular yet. And that's really hard to take. Oh, your writing is good, but that writing over there, that writing is exceptional. And so I'm going to go with that one, the exceptional, and I'm not that interested in yours. That hurts. And so that's not what they say. They don't say, oh, and you were totally beat out this week by this killer query that just came crushing through. Yeah, no, they don't say that. What they say is, thank you for the opportunity to read over your work after much consideration. And they may actually have thought about it a lot, so don't be like, oh, don't even say stuff like that. Anyhow, so after much consideration, I have decided to pass on your materials. Okay, cool. All right. So one time, I did have this opportunity to get an honest opinion. And if you're looking for an honest opinion, there are a few places on the internet where you can still get them. But unfortunately, not all genres have these wonderful sharks in their tanks. Right? So, I had an opportunity to get an honest opinion. It was a contest, and it was called You Can't Handle the Truth. And so I submitted my query, and I wrote in the title, the subject heading, like you were supposed to, I can handle the truth. And she told me the truth, and it blew my mind. The truth of that particular day was that my novel was not going to get a chance at all. And the reason my novel wasn't going to get a chance at all was because there had just recently been another book that had sold very well. It had sold in an auction. A publisher paid a lot of money for this book. And then it was released. And when it was released, it sold very, very poorly. It was a complete flop. In fact, it was such a complete flop that when I went looking for this mythical book, I spoke to a very trusted bookseller in the area, a local indie bookseller, and I told her the name of the book, and she said, oh, that one? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I just sent all of those copies back. I don't think I even sold one. So that's pretty rough. So I had a book on my hands that wasn't going to sell because of something that happened with another book. And that's one of the problems that you can run into with publishing, is that the truth can be shocking, and it can be horrible, and it can have nothing to do with you, and yet it can still impact your life in a very negative way. I cried, obviously. Here I have this beautiful book that I love and I worked really hard on, and it's never going to sell to a traditional publisher because of everything that goes on in the real publishing world. Entertainingly, that is the book that I sold. That's my first sold book, so yay! That's great. But yeah, the truth is that sometimes it has nothing to do with you, and that hurts. And sometimes you can't handle that, especially when you're first starting out, because it isn't fair. And it's not like it's something that you can work on or you can change, because that's the book that you have. When you first start querying, you have a manuscript, and that's the manuscript that you have. Now, admittedly, I did take that book And I did pitch it slightly differently after I went and got the other book, the flop book, that did so poorly, and read it. That's the only thing you can do to increase your odds, is to read more in your genre. So read in your genre. Remember, it's not always about your story. And sometimes it's just a no, and you should just accept that part of it. And there's no more information to be learned from it. And I'm really sorry that that is the answer. Good luck out there. All right. You good? Good.